Guys, I'm back with another video. Sorry, I thought I had a cough, but anyway, back with another video. If you clicked on this video, thank you for clicking on this video. I truly appreciate you because you did not have to click on it. Hopefully you will enjoy this video all the way through with me. Today, we got an ESPN analyst that gets destroyed for disrespecting Larry Bird, as he should, because who are you talking to? Who are you talking about? You know what I'm saying? And we about to get into it. If you don't know what to do, like, comment, subscribe, push the notification bell so you know notification when I post. That being said, let's see.
When it came to his Celtics teams, he was highly valuable to their overall success. Now, with that being said, Larry Bird, like most older legends, is losing respect as time goes on. And when it comes to ESPN, I was absolutely floored to see a former NBA player insulting Larry Bird and saying point blank he is not one of the greatest shooters in NBA history.
And I think the NBA has gotten way past the balance and watching guys give up dunks to shoot threes on fast breaks. That kind of thing. I think that has hurt the game a lot. Now, that's me. I am old school, as we all know. JJ, perfect. But, you know, Bird shot plenty of threes. And
just off the rip, I agree with him with that. You know what I'm saying? You rather shoot a 3 than to get an easy 2. Now, it's different when the game's on the line. You know what I'm saying? You got like 10 seconds left. We get it. Fourth quarter, 2 minutes left. You got to start hitting some shots to get back in the game. That's understandable. But we talking about first quarter. You coming down instead of getting an easy 2 or having somebody sprint down, get the ball, get an easy 2. You want to pull up and with a 3. But
they had Parrish and McHale. Bird shot plenty of threes. The best. Yeah, and Bird is one of the great shooters in the history of the sport. Not even close.
Bird shot threes. He never was a volume shooter.
No, I know that, but he was a great three-point shooter. He was not good. He was great.
So, stopping that clip right there, Redick, at the very end, had the facial expression of someone who was annoyed and disgusted by Larry Legend being called one of the best shooters of all time. And for someone like Redick, it might be hard to understand that players in the past were also great players. But for him, he is so preoccupied with boosting up today's players, he downplays and disrespects past eras, like Bird, Cousy, as well as Jerry West. Now, getting on to the actual argument, Larry Bird, in his era, there was a three-point line that was introduced his first year. But for middle school, high school, even college, he had no three-point line. That is some very important context a lot of fans either don't know or try to ignore. And one more thing I do want to add, when Bird came into the NBA, he was actually a power forward who played primarily on the block. And despite that, in his first year in the NBA, he shot 40.6% from behind the arc. In terms of percentage, he ranked 3rd in the NBA.
That was hard.
He was 5th in total threes and 6th in threes attempted. As a rookie off the bat, Larry Bird was the best three-point shooter in 1980. And what makes it even more impressive, out of the qualifiers for three-point shooting, he was the only power forward to make the list, once again proving how much of a unicorn he really was.
He's one of the top 5 three-point shooters of all time. That's how good Bird is. Oh, yes. Won three-point shooting contests. He was phenomenal. Bird's a great shooter.
Wait a minute,
and Bird didn't shoot.
Bird is absolutely one of the greatest shooters ever, but he's not one of the top 5 three-pointers, top 3, whatever.
I asked this in my other video. I don't know which video is going to come out first. Who's your top 5 three-point shooters? Let me know down below. Is Bird in it or no?
Did you see the three-point shooting that he put on, those clinics that he put on at the All-Star game?
Again,
did you watch?
Doggy, it's just math. It's attempts, it's makes, and it's percentage. And there's no way you could ever argue Larry Bird is a top 3 three-point shooter of all time. You can't make that argument.
You're basing it on math. You're basing it on math and a time of when he played. I'm basing it on just shooting.
Now, looking at JJ in this clip, he once again provides no context, saying, quote, "It's about makes, attempts, and percentage." Looking at the raw numbers with no context, no data, and no additional information. That argument right there, going on stats alone, is highly disingenuous.
This mistake is costing Amazon Prime shoppers big. I'm going to show you one simple trick that'll save you a lot of money. when shopping online.
Watch
Where
this.
my,
I can show you how to get the sweetest
cursor
deals
go,
online when
y'all?
you shop from major retailers like Amazon and Target.
My
You can
cursor
drop
went missing. My fault.
For example, look at the mid and early 2000s. Back in that era, averaging 30 points was extremely difficult for people like Kobe, Allen Iverson, and even T-Mac. Being knowledgeable NBA fans, we know that era had a much slower pace, the paint was more crowded, and scoring was definitely more difficult. When looking at the raw stats with no context, players in today's league averaging 30 were more efficient compared to Kobe, as was Iverson. And like Redick said, it's makes, attempts, and percentage. Someone like SGA, off the pure raw stats, was a better scorer than peak Iverson. And someone like Tatum, technically, was more impressive than the early 2000s Kobe. My overall point being, stats like usual require context.
Exactly, and that's why I always ask y'all, how are y'all, like, when you say somebody's the greatest player, what do you base that off of? People base things off different things, right? Like, JJ is completely basing his top 5 greatest shooters ever off of percentages, basically. You know what I'm saying? And it's just like, do we agree with that? Like, let's look at the overall picture.
The same thing goes to Larry Bird and his shooting percentage. And speaking of that percentage, looking at Bird, after 1984, when he stopped playing power forward, his overall shooting splits were highly impressive, shooting 50% from the field, 39.8% from 3, and 90% from the line. During that time period, 5 different times he shot above 40% from 3, and his highest season was at 42.7%. And going year by year, in 85, he was 4th in three-point makes, 86, he was 1st, 87, also 1st, and 88, he was 4th. For peak,
Bird is a unbelievable.
Again, we had this discussion the other day. We had this discussion the other day about James Naismith. James Naismith invented the game. You were rewarded for putting the ball in the basket. There's plenty of people that have shot more, made more, and guess what? Made more at a higher percentage than Larry Bird from 3. I'm not saying Larry Bird is not one of the greatest shooters ever. He's not one of the greatest three-point shooters ever.
Absolutely.
You cannot make that argument.
Yes,
I'm sorry.
Because the 80s is so much different. There's physicality, the way they guarded people. You couldn't.
Can we get off
I've been trying to make a point.
Seriously,
I've been trying to make a point for you, Doug.
So once again, Redick has 0 historical context and wants to make basketball black and white and about percentage and stats. And looking at Larry Bird, like I said before, he was one of the pioneers for the high-volume three-point shooters from day one in the NBA.
So, if JJ Redick want to make that argument, is he one of the top 5 three-point shooters? No, in the NBA? Even though he's retired, but would you put him at the top 5 three-point shooter? No. Now, he was a good three-point shooter, I give him that. You know what I'm saying? But he ain't top 5. Especially if we going off stats.
And for a big man, he was especially unique in his time.
Cause he over talking like he's the shit.
Dare
you know what I'm saying? Like he up there.
Threes. And Bird's overall influence, much like Steph Curry, had a big effect on the game going forward. For guys like Dirk Nowitzki, Kevin Durant, and even Jason Tatum. And one thing I do want to nail home, in 1980, three-point shooting was a gimmick and a joke for most coaches. But for Larry Bird, in a 5-year period, he legitimized it, was shooting upwards of 40%, really not knowing what he was doing for his time. And like I said before, peak Larry Bird was an elite and all-time great three-point shooter. As from 85 to 88, he shot 41.4% from behind the arc, when the league average was 29.5%. Once again showing Bird was light years ahead of the curve and is a unicorn for his time period, given his size, volume.
And that's another thing. That's what I'm saying. It's like, it's just, I feel like people like Larry Bird is not talked about enough. So that's why people like JJ Redick feel like they can say those type of things. If Larry Bird in that era was talked about more, those players in that era, I should say, were talked about more, I feel like different generations would respect that era more, you know? And I feel like when it's not talked about, when it gets like brushed under the rug and it's just hearsay, people don't respect it as much as they should. And you know, some things all you have is YouTube to see this type of era, and then still that gets, you know, triple checked because it's like, oh, it's YouTube, you know, you just seeing things. But you ain't gotta convince me. I know that era was a beast, you know, just as a basketball fan, regardless. And hearing you all's testimonies with you all, you know, some of you all went to those games and just seeing this man live. So I can, if I'm like this, if I'm shocked watching the video, I don't know how other people can't be shocked. But then again, Dominique Wilkins said he's just hating. He's just hating and disrespecting the old school league.
As
Y'all gotta let me know if y'all agree with Dominique
and
saying
one
that
more
about
thing
JJ.
I do want to reiterate is stats with zero context. As any average Joe off the street can look at a box score, look at a percentage, and read it and tell if it's good or bad. But a real smart NBA fan, what they do, they look at the context, the peak, and the overall era.
Facts.
As looking at raw stats as a simpleton, someone like Kobe and his career stats aren't as impressive as Damian Lillard when it comes to scoring.
Facts. I agree with him. I totally agree. Now, I think the rest of this video, he's just talking about stats and comparing stats, so we're not going to watch the rest of that. If y'all want to, y'all see the name down here, y'all see, you know what I'm saying, y'all can go watch the rest of the video. Y'all gotta let me know down below if y'all agree or disagree with this video and what was said in it. Was the ESPN analyst JJ Redick right, or was he wrong? Y'all gotta let me know. That's crazy. Because I didn't, especially as a former NBA player, like, bro, you know you gotta look at more than just stats. Like, come on now. Like, I never knew people, that's crazy. But y'all gotta let me know down below what y'all think. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and push the notification bell so you know notification post. That being said, see you guys next video.